Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot granted a series of one-on-one interviews to reporters, except those that are white. The Texas legislature just passed a major pro-life bill that has Planned Parenthood freaking out. Plus, radical leftists continue to push critical race theory. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot because she is living proof that if you are a radical leftist Democrat, you can do and say anything that would normally be considered racist or bigoted and get away with it. There's no fallout at all. To celebrate 2 years of being mayor of Chicago, she decided to grant one-on-one interviews to reporters in the area. Just one catch, though. If you're white, you're out. These interviews only would go to reporters who are black or brown. Here is Lightfoot on Twitter. I ran to break up the status quo that was failing so many. This isn't just in City Hall. It's a shame that in 2021, the City Hall press corps is overwhelmingly white in a city where more than half of the city identifies as black, Latino, AAPI, or Native American. Diversity and inclusion is imperative across all institutions, including media. In order to progress, we must change. This is exactly why I'm being intentional about prioritizing media requests from POC reporters on the occasion of the 2-year anniversary of my inauguration as mayor of this great city. This is just unbelievable. No interviews granted by Lightfoot to white reporters. None. This is blatant racism. Yet where's the fallout? Where's the blowback? Where's CNN or MSNBC or the Democrats calling her out on this? The Democrats are supposed to be about inclusion, not exclusion and racism. So Lori Lightfoot sat down to talk about her actions. Of course, she sat down with a black reporter, and here's Lightfoot.
If I, as the black woman mayor, the first ever, don't challenge us, the collective us, to do better, to really make sure that in every institution, it reflects the diversity and nuance and texture of our city, then shame on me.
Challenge the collective us to do better. Tell me, what is better about hiring people just based on skin color or excluding some people based on skin color? How is that challenging us to do better? Now, one local reporter thinks this is less about race and more about political distraction.
Charles Thomas knows the City Hall beat well as a former television political reporter. He says although newsroom diversity is an important topic, he questions the mayor's timing.
This is a distraction. Instead of talking about crime, talking about disarray in her administration, talking about education, talking about city finances, we're talking about this.
So what do you think? Political distraction or just blatant racism? Maybe it's both. Let me know in the comments. All right, next let's talk about what's going on in Texas. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, regardless of platform, just search out my name, hit that subscribe button, make sure notifications are turned on. That way you can follow the show and help us grow. All right, let's talk about what's going on in Texas because there was a major law signed just yesterday. It is the Texas Heartbeat Bill. Texas now joins just a handful of states banning abortion at the first sign of a baby's heartbeat. Following the signing, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, he tweeted this. The heartbeat bill is now law in the Lone Star State. This bill ensures the life of every unborn child with a heartbeat will be saved from the ravages of abortion. Thank you, Senator Brian Hughes, Representative Shelby Slauson, and the Texas legislature for fighting for the lives of the unborn in Texas. This is just awesome. And I know so many people that worked so hard to get this bill passed, to make sure that it made it into law. And I applaud them. I congratulate them for putting the protection of innocent human life at the forefront. And here's more. Texas's Heartbeat Act bans abortions after the unborn baby has a heartbeat. By the end of the 4th week of pregnancy, according to the Cleveland Clinic, the unborn baby's tiny heart tube will beat about 65 times a minute, and the baby's heartbeat can be detected by about 6 weeks. The law, which makes exceptions for medical emergencies, but not in cases of rape or incest, gives private citizens both in and out of Texas the power to sue abortion clinics or individuals who help women obtain abortions, according to the Texas Tribune. This may make the law more difficult to challenge in court, the publication noted. Of course, with the signing of this bill, Planned Parenthood is freaking out. They are in a meltdown. Following the signing, they tweeted out this. Breaking. Texas Governor Greg Abbott just signed one of the most extreme abortion bans in the entire country. But this harmful law is not yet in effect, and abortion is still safe and legal in Texas. Planned Parenthood will do everything we can to protect our patients' access to essential health care. Just unreal. Now, before I rip those comments to shreds, I want to throw in one more. This was a tweet. This was a reply to the governor's tweet on signing the bill. The person included a screenshot of an earlier tweet by Governor Abbott regarding the lifting of the mask mandates, and she circled, Texans, not government, should decide their best healthcare practices. Well, just like the Planned Parenthood tweet, this person ignores one key fact, and that is abortion is not healthcare. Killing an innocent human life just because it's inconvenient to you is not healthcare. Most abortions, the overwhelming majority, are for convenience, not healthcare. Never let them confuse you with that phrase, because abortion is not healthcare. Congratulations to the Texas legislature and Governor Greg Abbott for signing it. All right, next, let's talk about critical race theory, because once again, this keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And unless parents fight back, public schools and some private ones are going to keep pushing this doctrine, this indoctrination of our kids, and build a generation that is taught to hate America, that is separated by race, and that judges people by race. Now, to join me in this discussion is Republican strategist and attorney Amanda Mackey. Amanda, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on, Bobby.
All right, so I was reading your column. You got it, folks. Amanda has a great column in the Washington Times talking about critical race theory. So what are you seeing out there?
Well, it's just the dumbing down of our education system, to be very blunt. What we want to do in counties like Loudoun County, Fairfax County, Virginia, you've seen these school board meetings that are happening because these parents are outraged. And there are even African-American parents that are outraged by the race-based education system that we're creating in the United States. You know, President Trump was very smart. You know, a year ago, he put into place executive orders that would ban the teaching of critical race theory and the training on race in the federal government, because we should never pit American against American. But what's happening in our school system is that we're pitting American child against American child. And worse yet, by saying that subjects like math and science are inherently racist, and they favor Asian Americans and white Americans over brown and black Americans, you're in essence going to not only dumb down our system, but you're going to give China and these other countries that are farther advanced in their education systems a level advantage that is going to only further hurt America. And that's what's happening with critical race theory throughout the country right now.
Yeah, it's just amazing, and it's incredibly bad curriculum, incredibly bad doctrine, but it seems like people are starting to catch on. I want to play this clip. This is from Republican Chip Roy. He's talking about where our tax dollars are going as far as education. Take a look at this and let me know what you think.
That money is being funneled directly into public education institutions, K through graduate school, that are teaching our children that America is evil, divvying us up by race, teaching our children that they should be apologetic for their race. It's happening. This is real. Go look. You're the press. Go dive into this. Go look into schools. Ask them to see their curriculum. Dig into it. Be the press.
All right, so what do you think? Do you think the press is actually going to dig into that? Or is it going to be people like you and me, maybe some other legislators that are going to be, it's going to fall on us to get the word out?
The press will never dig into this because it's this woke culture, and everyone is fearful of the woke culture. I mean, you have comedians like Chris Rock and others saying that, people are now scared to just even talk what is on their minds. Kids in kindergarten and nursery schools are getting flesh-colored crayons now to notate what their color skin is, and therefore for them to be told that they are inferior or they should help others that are darker colored skin. It's crazy. At a young age, children should just be able to be children. And, when I think of when I was growing up, I'm 42, when you were growing up, this was never an issue. Kids played together on the playground. They didn't think about race. They just played with other kids. Now kids are being trained with our tax dollars to think about their skin color and think how they can provide upward mobility to kids who are of a darker skin color. Look, I'm a minority. You can look, I'm brown. And I even disagree with this. African-American moms have stood in these meetings, the school board meetings, and saying this is racist. Why are we doing this? Let's focus on education, especially when you look at schools being closed for the last over a year. Why not get back into making sure that they are at the level they need to be performing on academics, as opposed to where are you on race theory and how do we improve your understanding that the United States is a racist country? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's outrageous. And here's the thing. In your column, too, I thought this was really interesting. You were talking about the segregated graduations and how, colleges are just going insane. I want to put up this chart just to show you the imbalance that it is with speakers. Not only are they being indoctrinated, but they are getting only one side of things, not just critical race theory. But look at this. Institution after institution, college after college, liberal, liberal, liberal. There's so many good conservatives out there, but they're getting Oprah Winfrey and David Brooks from the New York Times. And of course, Dr. Fauci is making the rounds. What do you think about that?
Well, when you have 4 times the number of liberals giving these commencement speeches as conservatives, that should worry us. These are public institutions, at least some of those that you put up are. They're getting tax dollars, and they should not be slanted one way or the other. They should be reflective of opinions. But you've seen before when right after the war in 2010, 2011, you had Karl Rove and others want to go speak on college campuses, and they were banished from doing that because of what had happened and the perception of, George Bush and his administration. But this is important for people to hear differing views. We do not operate in silos in this world, and not, when these kids get out in the real world, they don't operate in silos either. They need to be comfortable in every environment, and we are coddling them to say, no, we are only going to talk about liberalism. We're only going to bring people to commencement speeches, give commencement speeches who espouse the views that you want to hear, like critical race theory, like race-based theory, like liberal politicians. And that is where we're doing a disservice to the children of this nation who have to go on to a real society and function in society. We're not really helping them with that when we create these silos.
Yeah, not at all. One-sided. It used to be, college was where it was open. That was the thing. It was the counter to what the grown-ups were doing. It was open. It was free discussion. It was debate. Now it's exactly the opposite. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Friends, if you have kids in school or in college, please get involved. We are the only ones who can fight back. We are the only ones who can stop this and change the direction of our country. All right, so it's Friday, right? We've got critical race theory. We got Planned Parenthood. We got Lori Lightfoot. We need to ask, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call, a relaxed brain.
First, let's talk about singer Demi Lovato, because she has come out as non-binary. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Bobby, I don't give a bleep. Well, guess what? I don't really either, but it's the story that warrants inclusion and relaxed brain, because she's come out as non-binary. She's saying that her pronouns are now they and them. And here's the thing. The media just plays right along. I got this story from Fox News, and it's not an Associated Press story just placed on the website. This was written by Sasha Savitsky of Fox News. In the story, the journalist just pretends that this single person is now multiple people, just plays right along. Here's part of the write-up. Demi Lovato revealed on their podcast, 4D with Demi Lovato, that they have come out as non-binary and will be using they, them pronouns. The 28-year-old singer recently opened up about the struggles they faced following their near-fatal drug overdoses in 2018. Are you kidding me? Are we just all supposed to pretend now? What's interesting is that story on Fox News also includes a quote from Lovato. Over the past year and a half, I've been doing some healing and self-reflective work. And through this work, I've had the revelation that I identify as non-binary, the singer said. With that said, I'll be officially changing my pronouns to they, them. I feel that this best represents the fluidity I feel in my gender expression and allows me to feel most authentic and true to the person I both know I am and am still discovering. All right, I just find it funny that this journalist is all on board with saying they and them, but Lovato, she describes herself as I. She should have used we. All right, next let's talk about this Professor Jennifer Ho at the University of Colorado Boulder, who thinks all anti-Asian violence is from white supremacy, even if whites aren't involved. Citing her experience as president of the Association for Asian American Studies and as director of the Center for Humanities and the Arts, Ho claimed that white supremacy is the root cause of all race-related discrimination in the country. The point I've made through all of those experiences is that anti-Asian racism has the same source as anti-black racism, white supremacy, she wrote. So when a black person attacks an Asian person, the encounter is fueled perhaps by racism, but very specifically by white supremacy. White supremacy does not require a white person to perpetuate it. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. But now for some news that is actually made up, here's the latest breaking news from the Babylon Bee. Lego unveils new genderless bricks with no male-female connectors. You know, I'm actually surprised that that's not a thing. Genderless Legos for the woke of the world. All right, friends, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, regardless of platform, just search out my name, hit that subscribe button, make sure notifications are turned on. That way you can follow the show and help us grow. All right, friends, have a great weekend. Next show is Monday. I'll see you then. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.